This year we've got this new session, which is now, and in a way it's because science isn't, as we know, just about data and statistics. It's also about people, which is men and women and everybody else, yeah. And almost all scientists are people, as we know. So to begin, to kick off, somebody who's really thought, who's a brilliant scientist, but also thought a lot about nurturing creativity and the struggles that we go through doing science, as well as the science itself, is Uri Alon. It's a really great pleasure to have Uri come from the Weizmann Institute today, and we're going to hear about his science tomorrow, but today, to kick off, he's going to tell us about, with the aid of a guitar and a flip chart, the life scientific, I think. So, Uri, please.
And so I'd like to start off right away with the first song is about being scooped, which is the experience that you work and somebody else publishes your work before you do. And it's a blues song. And I'd like to ask you to be backup singers. All right? So your text is scoop, scoop. It sounds like this. Scoop, scoop. All right? It sounds like this. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. So let's try it. I've been scooped again. Good rhythm. BSBC. Let's do it again with twice the amplitude, okay? I've been scooped again. Good. Great. I'm in the Leibler lab. Check out what's on the slab. I'm running gel after gel. Makes my life a real hell. I'm a receptor lizard, I'm a ligand wizard. Wrote this great new paper, gonna send it to Nature. Went down to the library. This was written in my postdoc 1999, and there was still a library there. Just to check out them journals of February. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. Oh, Mama, can't you feel my pain? Heavens help me, I've been scooped again. Now I knew every flagella, yeah, I knew it real well. I could talk to the cellar, 'cause I speak salmonella. Every mini prep got my full attention. Oh, to publish first, that was my intention. Went down to the library just to check out them journals of September 3. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. Oh, Daddy, can't you feel my pain? Heavens help me, I've been scooped again. Thank you for your backup singing. Scooping, this emotions. How many people here know somebody who's been scooped? I'm just wondering. It happens in Britain also. Are just one aspect of emotional side of science, like maybe causes us in conferences not to talk about our work, keep our cards close to our chest, which is no fun because we came to science to learn and to talk with other people. Just one aspect that affects the way we behave. And in general, I find that, we know that we study science. We don't talk a lot about the process, the human process of doing science. We talk a lot about the results. And just for example, when I started my PhD, very ambitious to succeed, and after a few months, I realized that I'm completely stuck. That my basic assumptions aren't working. It was a disorienting feeling, that somebody pulled the rug under my feet, which was difficult to take. I stopped shaving. Very difficult to get out of bed in the morning like this, because, you see, none of the scientists I've ever learned about in school, in first degree, master's, ever got stuck, according to what I've been told. So obviously, I can't be a scientist. My dream is broken. I'm unworthy of stepping across the threshold of the university. Then something happened. I had enough support from my family, my mentors, and I found a way through and discovered something. It was very exhilarating to know the only person to know a little secret of nature. And then started the second project in my PhD, and again I got stuck, desperate, and made it through. And I started talking to the other graduate students because I saw there was a pattern, right? I like patterns. And they said, yeah, exactly, that's our life, except nobody tells us about it. It's a silence about it, and that's very interesting. Also, when I became a PI, right, I got finally my whitewashed new rooms at the Weizmann Institute, and I walked in, and it was like the ceiling was falling on me. I was panicking because I realized I learned thousands of hours of physics, biology, but not 1 hour about how to mentor, how to guide people into the unknown, how to say no to a lot of requests, how to interview. I would just talk, not listen, so I hired people that didn't get along, then I had to fire people. It's like a lot of things like this, a lot of white hair, and our profession is silent about the process in general. Yeah, and so like if you buy a microscope, you read the manual, and you buy the best optical table and the right filters to make it work optically. But what do we teach ourselves about the conditions needed to help a person reach their full potential, going into the unknown in a group of others, groping in the unknown like that? We don't. And it's not that it's unknown principles. There's lots of fields that deal with that, from psychology, education. Where I got a lot of insight was improvisation theater, which deals with the process a lot. And so I had to learn it from different sources. And so why is it that we don't talk about these things? And it's not by chance. People who study science, social science, point out that it's a matter of principles. Because it's like a myth that we have. It comes from the fact that what we seek to gain, and think we can all agree, is knowledge that's objective and rational. Objective and rational. The myth we have as a culture is that the way to get this knowledge, what scientists are, is only objective and rational. Like we're Mr. Spock. And when you, as human beings, label something as objective and rational, you automatically label the other side, the subjective and the emotional. Right? The subjective and the emotional is non-science, anti-science, threatening to science. But people who have done science for a while realize that science is done with all the parts of being a human being. It's not only a hypothesis test. For example, in the subjective and emotional part, for example, one skill that's critical, maybe the most important thing about being a scientist, is choosing what problem to work on. No computer algorithm will tell you what problem to work on. It's an emotional thing. I'm curious about something. I'm wondering about something. Or maybe I'm annoyed with some dogma, or some emotional aspect. It's like we come to science with a tuning fork that resonates with nature, and it's very individual. Each person has their own. That's what we bring to the table as scientists. Maybe just to start a conversation, maybe I ask you to name skills that are critical for being a scientist that belong here on the subjective and emotional side. Passion. Resilience, because things don't work. You have to overcome difficulty. Thank you for saying. Intuition. A feeling for the origin, like the famous book from, I'm blanking out on the name. Clintock, the plant scientist, right, who was discovering jumping genes. Yeah. Imagination, open-mindedness, sense of humor, very good for overcoming. Focus, not too many things going on at the same time, maybe. Things about dealing with other people. Humility, listening, somebody said. Listening. So you see, collaborating, for example, is a skill. Why are you laughing? Did I miss it? Empathy, I was ignoring empathy. Me. Okay. Like collaborating, a great way to make enemies is to collaborate badly. It's so important for science to collaborate, but how many people here had a course on how to collaborate? You know, keeping like contracting, keeping communication, lines of communication open, understanding what happens when things change, instead of remembering the other person as a human being. So how efficient is science if we don't teach ourselves these things? So the point is, if we have sessions like this to talk about subjective and emotional aspects. Science will improve, science will become more fun, etc. And I want to tell you about one word let me call it. So you can say that science has a culture, right? It has a culture, that has a cultural myth that discusses some things and not other things right now. And I want to finish with the idea that culture can be changed. Okay. Before I do that, I'll do another song. For this one, I have to sit back here. Can you hear? So this is about someone who had a lot of empathy for me. So I don't know about the other one, but he was had a critical role in my career. I wouldn't be here without him. His name is Mike Surratt. He was a postdoc in the other lab when I was starting my postdoc. I moved from physics to biology. Had no idea about this new field, and he had the patience to answer every question I had. No question was too stupid. Why is there sodium in this buffer? And he also kept me from quitting a few times. So this song about him, about Mike Surratt. And if you have someone like that, or have right now, or that person sitting here, you can remember them when I sing this song. The music by Leonard Cohen. Mike takes you down to a place by the centrifuges. It's your first day in the lab, and you don't know what a centrifuge is, and he hands you precious flasks, and you drop them, and they shatter, and you look at him quite meekly, but he says it doesn't matter, they were only the controls. And he gives you of his buffers, and he gives you of his strains, and you wish you had his genome, or at least you had his brains. Now I came to him one morning, an idea had been forming. My transformants weren't transforming, my swarmers were not swarming. I said, Mike, I'm a failure, I'm going to work at Lord and Taylor's. I think I'm quitting science, but he says, now don't be hasty. You see science like the cafeteria, sometimes nasty, sometimes tasty. And he soothes you so discreetly, and you trust in him completely, and your mind, it has been freed, and you know that somewhere, something will succeed. Now Mike is packing his papers in a folder. There's a knapsack on his shoulder, his pipette is in its holder, and as he leaves the floor, the shakers all stop shaking, the columns all run dry, and the autoclave stops baking. It'll never be the same. And you know that you must keep him, or at least that you must clone him, and you know that you will miss him, and you know that you will phone him all the time. Mike takes you down. How can culture be changed? It has to do with what we talk about and what we don't talk about. Culture always changes. 100 years ago, for example, women couldn't vote, I think, in England, right? 1960, I think it was only later. And if you read what the newspapers wrote, it seems very natural. Women are good for the home. It's a mistake to let them vote about World War I, etc. Except for some people who didn't agree, and after generations of struggle, got the vote for women. Now, people don't change. There's still people with chauvinistic opinions. But the way you talk changes people's behaviors. Now, nobody would consider saying, take away the vote from women. So the way you talk affects behavior, and raising awareness changes culture. And here's just an example, just one word that's been transformative for me as a mentor, and you guys can't see, right? Pretending to have empathy. So, what's the mental schema? Then you can't see? Have to finish? Have to finish? Oh, okay. So maybe I'll just finish. Huh? Oh, the word, okay. Yeah, you need the word, right?
We all need to know. We need to know it here. I'll tell you
You know what? I'm not going to do it because I don't want to take time away from the next speaker. I'll just say, if you're interested, if you know what TED Talks are, look at TED and type my name, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I hope it's an elegant way to finish on time. So thank you very much for your backup singing, and good luck on the path to, this individual path to discover things and discover each other. Thank you.